Welcome back to our Kasou Seydou portraits, part 2. The first thing we're going to do is erase any stray pencil marks. So if you had the guidelines, erase that. Any pencil marks that you didn't trace with the Sharpie that were like little stray messy marks, just get those out of the way. So erase and get the little bits of eraser crumbs off the paper, and then get your pencil and ruler ready. Okay. So we're not going to do any actual measuring. I'm simply going to move my ruler all the way to the edge of the paper and draw a straight line down. Then I'm going to line up my ruler on that pencil line so that it's perfectly even on that line, or as close to even as I can get it. And you can see it's equally spaced. Then I'm just going to keep lining my ruler up on the last line that I drew. Lining it up on the last line I drew and drawing a line on the other side. Lining my ruler up on the other line, drawing a new line. Lining my ruler up on the other line and drawing a new line. All right, my last row is a little skinnier, but that's okay, it doesn't matter. Now I'll do the same thing, but going horizontally and lining up the ruler with the top of my paper. Same thing, I am just going to hold my ruler firmly in place as I line up my ruler with the last line I drew and drawing a new line. Lining my ruler up with the last line I drew and drawing a new line. I'm just going to keep saying that, lining my ruler up with the last line that I drew and drawing a new line. Lining my ruler up with the last line that I drew. Oops, I moved it, so I'm going to straighten it out and fix that. So if you accidentally move it, straighten it out and fix it and erase any mess up lines. So again, lining it up with the last line I drew and drawing a line, which brings me to the bottom of my paper. No more lines to draw. And now I have a grid that I made without measuring. If you don't have a ruler, you can take a piece of paper and fold it about 3 to 4 times to create something that's about an inch. That paper was too short though. I'm gonna have better luck if I use a piece of paper that's the same length as what I'm drawing on. So I'll fold it in half once, fold it in half twice, and it's a little too wide at 2 times, so 3 times I'll fold it, and that gives me about an inch wide. It's a little skinnier than my ruler, just by a tiny, tiny bit, but that is not a big deal. So fold your paper 3 times. All right, and you would do the same thing, tracing it, lining it up with the last line you drew, tracing, and so on and so forth. Now the next step. You are going to be putting symbols on your in your grid, I should say, and I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper to plan mine out. I'm running out of space in my sketchbook, so I'm just going to grab a scrap piece, and I know I'm going to put the Zelda Triforce in there because to me that symbolizes unity and strength and togetherness and cooperation, so putting that in there. And I like Zelda, so Zelda shout out. And then I'll also put in a heart for love. I'm recording the sound after I make this, and I actually changed the inside of that heart to a little droplet. It was too many triangles because my other one is a triangle, and so I'm just marking what they are. And this triangle is going to stand for equality because I'm going to put an equal sign inside of it. So equality. And then you will start to put those in your boxes. And you just draw them as big as the grid on your paper. So it's a good idea to plan those out. You can have 1 to however many you want. If you want them all to be different, go for it. If you want 4, go for it. 3, okay. Just 2, okay. Again, just 1 repeated over and over, totally fine. That is your call. So you're just going to draw them in your box. I like to use the corners and the edges of the box to help guide me on how big I should draw because you want them to fill the entire space. I'm not going to make you watch me draw all of this in the grid, so I'll speed it up in a moment, but you'll notice here I make a change. I was going to start back over with the Triforce, the 3 triangles, but it's just too many triangles. So I changed my mind and I add a 4th symbol. I started off with 3, but I decided to add a 4th. So I erase that one and I get my little scrap paper, and you can't see me drawing. Sorry about that, but I'm planning out another one. I swear I'll show it to you. And my 4th one is going to be for positivity. I wanted another round shape. So I'm doing a circle with a plus sign in it to stand for positivity. So these are all things that are important to me. Unity, love, equality, and positivity. All right, so you saw me point to it there. So it's a plus sign. A little hard to see in that one, but it's a plus sign. And once you color it in, these things will be obvious. All right, so I will speed it up because all I do from here is simply repeat my symbols over and over. So I keep them in a pattern. I keep them going in the same order of Triforce, heart, equality, positivity. Triforce, heart, equality, positivity. And I have to keep going back and check. You'll see me checking. All right, so I'm going to speed it up. You'll also see me change that heart symbol just a wee bit. Like I said, speeding it up, and here you see me changing it to that teardrop. I was kind of thinking more of an infinity sign within my heart, but then you're going to see a happy mistake that happened. Not even a mistake, I don't know, happy happenstance, where my teardrop comes right out of my eye there. It looks like I'm crying. I didn't plan it. It just happened, and it kind of worked out, just like that circle on my nose. Kind of funny. So again, keeping the pattern, I kind of use my finger to help guide me as I might forget what order I'm in. But you know what? If you mess up the order, also not that big a deal. You could put it in completely random, but I like to have it somewhat organized because that's just how I am. Again, you could do 1 symbol, 2 symbol, 3, 4, 5. I think a lesser amount is best so you don't get confused. So I wouldn't really go over 5. But if you want to be ambitious, go for it. And there it is. That's as far as we are going to get today. And you can see my 4 symbols all on there. I'm going to save my paper just in case.